coverage of an African safari and may include animal kills and carcasses. Viewer discretion is advised.
Welcome everyone to this beautiful afternoon in South Africa. We were looking at a crested barbet, and this is Safari Live.
Ready. Standing by.
Five, four, three, two, one. You are live, you are live.
Welcome everyone, always a pleasure to have you all on board today. We did finally have a beautiful view of a crested barbet. My name is Ellie, and on camera with me today I've got Craig. Sorry, didn't mean to call you the wrong name. And we have come up to the last position where the lions were seen this morning. Unfortunately, they are on the wrong side of the fence. Or, well, not the fence, but the road. And we were hoping that maybe they would have come down. It's been a bit of a chilly day. Maybe they've been moving around. But it seems like wherever it is that they are, they're way too comfortable. So we're just going to scan a little bit further down the road. See if perhaps we get lucky with them. Maybe an ear twitching somewhere. Maybe a tail flicking. And if not, then we've always got tomorrow to come and check again. But again, all of these boundaries mean something to us, and they mean absolutely nothing for the animals, because we are coming to you all the way from the Kruger Park in South Africa. So if you've got any questions or want to get a hold of us, you're more than welcome to do so using the hashtag #SafariLive via Twitter, and we'd be more than happy to hear from you. Right, now, I think these beautiful lions have decided that they're going to spend the day somewhere else, so we're going to leave them to it, and we're going to carry on. But let's go to Tayla, who's also been lucky with a bird today.
We have, but this is very special, this sighting, because this is Ferg's first animal that he's seen since being back at work, and he said with the exception of the Wild Earth crew as well. And it is a Birchall Starling, and have a little listen to its stunning call. Lovely, isn't it? Right, well, it's singing for Ferg, of course, but I suppose I better introduce myself to all of you, and then we'll have a look at this beautiful bird, if it is still back and around. But good afternoon once again. My name is Tayla, and on camera with me today is, of course, the Ferg, who you met in the pre-show, and you know so well. He's very happy to be back.
Hello.
You heard his voice this time, and it seems as though there's another starling. They're communicating, because I can hear another call coming off to the left. But they're quite lovely birds. We can have a look at that fella again, because he is sitting very, very nicely out in the open and in the sun, which is demonstrating its color quite beautifully. And like we heard just a moment ago, they're singing their absolute hearts out. And I love the way that it tilts its head back as it sings like that too. Now, if you have just joined us, welcome. Remember, you can hashtag Safari Live on Twitter if you'd like to ask us any questions, or if you just want to post some photos, or perhaps this is a new bird to your list. You can always let us know. We're always happy to hear that the bird numbers are climbing. And off it goes. Well, there goes the largest starling that we get into this area, so I suppose we better keep up and carry on and see what else we can find. I think what we're going to do first is, I'm just driving on Twin Dams Road at the moment. We're heading towards Chele Pan. I used to really enjoy going past Chele Pan, especially towards the end of last year. Oh, excuse me, oh goodness, I almost choked on my own saliva there for a moment. Apologies, that would have been a horrible way to go. And anyways, there used to be a lot of animals that always hang around Chele Pan. However, I haven't had much luck around there, but maybe today it's going to change, seeing as though the lions chased everything off of quarantine. I'm thinking of other spots that they could potentially go to go and graze and also have a drink of. It wasn't particularly hot. I had a little jersey on for most of the day. In the shade it was quite cool, but in the sun it was quite beautiful and keeping nice and warm. So, as you know, of course, We have a feed coming out of Kenya, and Jamie is doing the drive this afternoon. Let's go and see what she's got on the menu.
Welcome to the vast expanse of African wilderness, just teeming with wildlife. This is the Masai Mara, and my name is Jamie, and this afternoon Dave is on camera with me, and the reason that we're laughing at each other is because we had this all planned out for the start of the safari, but the gremlins attacked and we didn't quite get there in time. But what an amazing drive into work, and what a way to actually basically overcome the trauma of last night, where Dave and myself were told that there was spaghetti waiting for us when we got back, a dish of pasta, and so we raced eagerly up the hill until we didn't race eagerly up the hill anymore. In fact, we didn't go anywhere. And Pucker stuttered all the way home and is now with the mechanic. So without dwelling too much on that, we have a herd of Maasai giraffe giving us the most extraordinary view, accompanied by zebra, by impala, somewhere there. There they are. There's the impala, the massive, massive impala of the Mara, which is a great sentence now that I think about it. And there's actually a dopey as well, doing its thing on a termite mound. It's off to the right there, Dave, unless I'm massively in the way. No, I'm not. There we go. There's a dopey. So 4 species, and we haven't even got down off the mountain yet. This has definitely got to be the best drive into work ever. Hey, Raffies, you're not quite sure what to do about us, huh? They want to come past, but they're not entirely convinced. So they're going to do their stand and stare thing. They really are beautiful here. And what I've noticed, you don't see it so much with the females, but what I've noticed about the male giraffe in this area is just how prominent that bone is between, or just sort of between their eyes on their forehead. One of them that we saw looked like a triceratops, didn't it, Dave?
It did.
It did. They really are extraordinarily pronounced, far more so than the ones that occur in South Africa. It's just something interesting. And while we watch the giraffe, look, that giraffe is telling you to do something. Do you know what that giraffe is telling you to do? Apart from the quick wink. It's telling you to send through questions and comments on #SafariLive on Twitter. Right, now I hear, according to Brent, that there are lions in the area on a buffalo kill. And it'll be a pride that I've never seen before. The sausage pride, also known as the sausage tree pride, we still have to determine exactly what the official name is. So while we make our way across to the lions from our tree-like animals, let's go to Ali with a tree. Yes, we thought we'd give you guys a look at a living leadwood tree. I know we always enjoy those beautiful sunsets, and as the sun comes down we see those dead trees that have been standing there for centuries, enduring pretty much anything nature has thrown at them. But for a change, it's nice to see a youngster. So this particular tree, I think, well, although it doesn't look as maybe as old as some of the other ones that we see around, I would say it's probably around 80 years old or so. These trees take a very long time to start growing. Very, very long time. So, very good tree around this area. They are insect repellent. They are very hard wood, and pretty much nothing goes in them. And that's why they're able to stand tall like they do very proudly for many years. Having looked at this beautiful, typical African scenery, let's go over to Tayla, who's got a very funny African-looking creature.
I'm hoping these guys stay around, because that big boar you can see running in front, he's actually chasing off another warthog boar. Now, I've never seen a fight between 2 male warthogs before, but you can see he is huge, he's experienced. Look at the size of his tusks. They're almost so big that it doesn't look real. And there's a younger contender coming in and getting too close to his sounder, and he has to chase him off at the moment. But unfortunately, there they go in the very, very, very long grass. And that's probably one of the biggest warthog families I've seen. especially out here in the northern Sabi Sands. I've seen some massive ones before, but there were so many of them. We'll try and see if we can get another view, but oh my gosh, that was amazing. You should have seen the way he was chasing this other pig away. It was so funny. At full speed, mane standing up all straight. I didn't even know that it could get to that erect. It was incredible. And at such a speed as well, just taking straight off on the mark. That is something I've never seen before. Really, really exciting. Let's see if we can get it again. But knowing warthogs, they are quite skittish. There's gremlins, of course. Now our sighting has, of course, disappeared into the bushes. We can't see anything just yet. So I'm going to send you back across to Ellie, who was looking at a tree, and for some reason it's managed to disappear.
Yes, it's the magic of the bush. The tree was there and then all of a sudden it's not. We fast forward to maybe 1,000,000 years and where that beautiful leadwood tree was standing, it's not there anymore. No, I'm joking. We have left the tree behind. We are carrying on, see if perhaps we can find another beautiful tree for you guys, but that is, well, not my favorite tree, but definitely one of the top ones. And it's just because it just takes them such a long time to grow, and you know, and even once they die, they manage to stand there for so many years. I think that is an incredible quality, and well, part of the reason for it, and the name may suggest it, it's called a lead wood, is very heavy wood. So it's the type of wood that you don't really want to make a canoe from, because you'll probably end up, you know, going on a submarine. So not another one around here, but hopefully we'll be able to see it. In some areas you get this beautiful forest of just leadwood trees. So imagine that beautiful tree we're looking at with maybe 10-15 more all around, and then the mist coming through, maybe an impala somewhere in the distance. Oh, I think that is one of my favorite views. I thought there was maybe an oxpecker up there, but no. I heard it wrong, and I saw it wrong, and I imagined it. Right, we are on our way to search for pretty much anything this afternoon. I think it's a good afternoon to look for elephants or perhaps giraffe, because I was looking for a giraffe earlier on today, but it just pretty much was not having any of it and did not want to be found, which I always find a bit insulting because giraffes are so big. How do they manage to hide so well? Whoop. Bumpy road. Lots of elephant droppings on the road. I think Tayla had that elephant herd not too far from here. So maybe this is them that have been moving around and not stopped, because I think they were drinking from a drainage line. So very likely it could have been the same one and they've moved off somewhere else. Lots of Ellie tracks on the road. I think they all seem to have been heading onto the drainage line. So let's see if perhaps we go around and we manage to find somewhere else. This morning, not too far from here, when we were actually driving, Craig mentioned that he smelled that very typical buttery popcorn smell that we thought maybe came from a leopard, but we couldn't find any signs. There were impala around and then they were pretty relaxed. There were no tracks on the road, but you know, always that smell, that funny smell that you're just... it's almost like smelling an elephant in must. Very pungent, and then you know there's been something somewhere that's been moving around. Nope. I would like to do some birding, but I think maybe the wind is going to get in our way. All of this precious little birds seem to be hiding and going into the canopies of the trees or on the various thickets all around the roads. Gremlins general, you'd like to know what is the rarest tree or most expensive tree in the Sabi Sand. I'm not too sure which one is the most expensive, but we've got quite a few that are endangered that you have to look after them. So the leadwoods are one of them. Jackalberries for certain. I think mopanis are also protected. What else? I'm trying to think of coral trees we've got around here, but I don't think they are particularly protected. I think those would be it. And then, well, you know, we've got all sorts of, in general, any tree that takes quite a long time to grow, those are the trees that people, oh, roller. I don't know if maybe we'll be able to have a look. If I go forward, maybe it'll fly away. There we go, those beautiful, stunning colors this afternoon. Well, thank you for staying there. Sometimes they're not as friendly. So yes, any tree that takes quite a while to grow, those are normally the ones that are the more expensive because the wood is of a better quality. So they don't get as many insects inside and they just tend to last for a bit longer. And you, mister, are very stunning. Oh, you're welcome. Wonder, what you looking at? They always look like a bit of a general when they look directly to us, don't they? Very beautiful colors, and it's amazing to think that all those colors we're looking at are pretty much nothing but the effect of the light being reflected in different ways, and they are not actually of that color. Now, I know that sounds very confusing, but it's one of those optical illusions, one of those tricks that our eyes play on us. So you'll see for a lot of the birds in this area, they only have certain colors. They only have certain colors in their feathers, and a lot of them it's just melanin, and the way that the keratin or the different substances are disposed in their feathers, or the way that they are arranged, then they are able to reflect different wavelengths at different wavelengths. Yes, that's what I'm saying. So, well, off you go. So that is what gives a bird the apparent appearance, of having multiple colors. And that is also the reason why when we see them on days that are slightly overcast and very dark, then they don't appear as beautiful as they are, and it's almost like they've got dull coloration. And it's all because the light being reflected off their feathers plays a very important role. Well, I think you might be the friendliest roller I've seen around Djuma. I wonder why we didn't find you before. So you see, he's always, or rollers in general, are always perching, very vigilant, making sure that there are no other rollers coming into this area. And they will be such magnificent sentinels. They'll just stay up on the branch of a tree, just surveying their area, making sure that nobody else is trying any funny business into their area. And of course, well, it gives them a vantage point in case they manage to spot a little insect or something else moving around. It's a good way of being like, haha, I know where to go. And then they come down and poof, there's a kill happening. All from the comfort of a dead tree. Alright. Hello. Stunning colors, aren't they? I think he's just magnificent. And it is one of those very beautiful birds with such an ugly call. They are, I mean, I would say out of here, the colors are just incredible and we absolutely love them and they look so pretty and you're like, oh my god, I want the bird. And when they go flying, they go like, rah, 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 like horrible call, really not pretty. But what is funny is obviously these birds have fascinated everyone for quite a long time. And because they've fascinated people for many years, actually when people first started inhabiting this area, so the boys, to try and conquer the girls, they would go and pick either the feathers or, you know, potentially kill the bird and then grab the feathers, but obviously, thankfully that part doesn't happen anymore, and just give them to a girl as an offering of, you know, trying to woo them and be like, oh, hello, instead of giving them roses or flowers, it would be feathers. How amazing is that? Okay, while we search for more beautiful things flying our way, let's go over to Tayla, who's got arguably one of the least pretty ones of them all.
Wait, was that to me or the Warthogs? I'm not sure, Ellie. Well, we had some Warthogs, but they have now disappeared into the bushes. What a great start to our safari! Woohoo! Ah, you... Right, gremlins are fighting us terribly today. I'm going to get the gremlicide spray out. I'm going to send you back across to Ellie and hopefully we'll find some elephants.
well, we haven't seen too many elephants because we've only driven about 5 meters since we last saw you, so welcome back. So let's go down here and see if perhaps we managed to see any other interesting trees or creatures or birds or anything. I was so surprised to see that dung beetle yesterday. I was so excited. I was like, yes, the last dung beetle of the season. So that was very cool. So, you know, was it? I don't think the dung beetle was yesterday though. I think maybe the day before. I don't remember. The days have a funny way of blending into one together, and I always feel like it was the day before, but maybe I think it was a few days before. Woo! We found Tayla doing her anti-gremlin dance!
Was that what I was doing?
Well, I don't know. Were you? As long as it works.
Maybe not still.
Hi. Hello. Any luck this way? No?
Just careful, that corner's got gremlins. Do you want a stick?
Yes. Do you have a stick that I can use to beat them?
Have a stick? Oh, hang on. Silly me. This may work.
All right. Okay, let's go before you cut your fingers off. All right, so you see, Tayla's always got a backup plan, so don't you worry. She will fight those gremlins off very fiercely. I'm just hoping that we're not going to catch them on our way there. I reckon we shall be safe. But if not, we know who to call. I think Tayla's been the savior of everyone today, so we're all very proud of her and very grateful that we can count her on our team. She gave me a bit of a fright with that panga there. Alright, let's see what else there is around here. I don't think we will be finding any Taylas around here soon. But let's go back into our little insect and tree search. Daniel in Scotland, you're wondering what is the most common tree in Safari? Well, I am surrounded by them at the moment, so I don't really know. I'll just point them out to you. So this one in front of us that we're looking at, this is a very common bush willow. And there are a few of them all around. We've got the red and the russet that are fairly common. Then all the way over there, that big one, that is also quite common. It's called a weeping boar bean. Then, of course, down there in the distance, that one next to the one, that is a marula tree. Very common as well, very pretty. And we all love it because it gives us a wonderful fruit. And then this one over here, this is also quite common. The long one there, that is an acacia. That is the very famous knobthorn. So it's called the knobthorn because it's got tiny little knobs on the wood. And that's where it gets the name from. And what else? Well, this one's right next to us. These are the spike thorns. All of this one's around here. The red spike thorn. And there are a few other species like guaris and big trees and other things, but I can't see them from here. Kathy, you're wondering if there are baobab trees in this area. Well, I haven't seen them around here. I think they need areas that are a bit drier, just to be able to grow. So I think the closest one would be one that is well known to be in the Kruger, but I'm just trying to think. I think maybe it still sits further closer to the Botswanan border than what we are now. But if you start going to the northern side of the Kruger Park, if you go to some of the camps or reserves that are further or closer up to the Zimbabwe and Botswana border, then you start seeing them a lot more. And then if you carry on going all the way to Tanzania and Kenya, I don't know, well, Kenya maybe not, but Tanzania, you see lots and lots of them over there. Unfortunately, we don't get them here. I would love to see a baobab tree here, but they are also one of those trees that is currently under protection because elephants love it, and they are pretty much finishing them all. Because it's a soft tree, very fibrous, so it's easy to eat. It doesn't wear down their teeth as much, and it's full of water, or it's able to retain a lot of water. So it's perfect for the elephants to come and strip the bark and eat it. And it takes also such a long time to grow. And I think they've done and all this carbon dating on baobabs, and there may be some of them 2,000, 3,000 years old. So imagine how old, like the things that they have seen. I'm sure there's been plenty of them. James, you're wondering, aside from counting rings, what can be used to determine the age of a tree? Well, another common thing that people tend to use, is besides the ring, is just the diameter of the tree. So just how wide the tree is. So some trees are maybe 15 meters diameter. I know there are some parks in Canada and in California where they've got this massive trees. What else can they use? Well, then carbon dating, especially for the dead ones, just to try and get an idea of how long they've been around in terms of all the information that they gather from that. I think maybe carbon dating is the most popular one, because counting the rings sometimes is not thought to be a very reliable method. But I don't know, that's a question that I haven't looked into too much, how to determine how old a tree is. Sometimes I just look at them and be like, oh, you must be old. But if I had to like put a date, then I wouldn't know. But I think those are pretty much the methods that everybody uses at the moment to try and figure out how old a tree is. And we've got some very old ones around here, some very big jackalberries, some very big leadwoods, some scotias, some what do you call them? Whipping boar beans. So all sorts of trees even around here. And of course we've got those beautiful torchwoods that they're very common here. Okay, seems like Tayla managed to beat off all the gremlins and then she's winning. So let's go to her so she can tell us all about her battle.
For now, it was so terrible. Ellie, sweat, tears. Look what they did to my leg. I have to show you. They tore my pants. Look at this. Just have to show you what the gremlins did. Look at that rip. I had to put a safety pin to hold them together because they attacked me, and then I'm going to climb up even further. Oh, am I too tall? Look at that. Look at that big cut on my leg. Injury from the gremlins. They're nasty. They've got claws. It's proving to be quite terrible. That's a close zoom up of my wound. So I've been injured. I'm going to get back in my chair. I'm very upset. My panga obviously wasn't sharp enough because I didn't do a very good job. The only good news I have for you so far is that we've got the tracks of the elephants that we had for the last 3 game drives. And I think this is the same herd that was drinking at WildEarthTV Dam earlier. So we're just going to keep following them. I'm not sure what direction they went after they had a drink at WildEarthTV Dam, but we'll track them down either way. But Alice, I have some very sad news for you. I know that there are a couple of gremlins that like to hang around here too. They're quite rude. They're not very nice. So hopefully they'll hold off for just a moment. But I think they're basically going a little bit further west now. Obviously they've moved out of their honeymoon spot where they had good food, good water, and they've decided to go elsewhere. So if they've gone from Gallagher Pan, I'm not exactly sure where they're going to go next, but we'll go and find out. The guests are out of the lodges, so that's good news. Right, I was just giving Ellie a breather. She seems to be superwoman today and rescuing myself and Ferg, who I'm a damsel in distress. What are you, Ferg?
I am distressed.
Just distressed. Right, let's go back across to Ellie.
Well, I don't think Tayla should come looking for any elephants over here. Way too windy for them, so I'm sure they would not like it. But we have managed to spot a few waterbuck in between the trees over here that are keeping warm, and we haven't seen a waterbuck for a while, so I'm quite happy to see them. Whoop. There we go. There's one right there next to us. Hello. So we've got a group all together of about 4 young boys. Beautiful, aren't they? And they always look so healthy, the waterbuck. Now, the waterbuck, they're also very funny eating antelope. And when I say funny eating, is that they're quite selective about what they eat. They will not just eat any grass. So they put some thought into it, and they tend to grass that's got a bit more of a high content of protein in general. So they're a bit fuzzy when it comes to it. Oh, so you are the bigger boy. Also, you're still quite young. So I'm sure in between all of these boys, they've got some sort of hierarchy going on. And I'm sure, well, you are the biggest one, so you're probably, the one in command, the leader. But there's very little aggression amongst all of these boys. I know they pretty much all know that they still have no chance of getting any females. So it's a lot safer to be with more eyes looking around than just be on their own. And in general, it's not uncommon to find groups of bachelors of different species, but of course of waterbuck, which is exactly what's happening here. But also, they've also got a very pungent smell, and whenever you drive around, you can just smell the waterbuck. And they've got a gland that produces a lot of oil, and it's quite a stinky oil that you can always be like, oh, a waterbuck's been here. And that particular gland that secretes that oil is the one that is assumed to give the meat a very foul taste when you're trying to skin the animal, if you were to eat it. So actually, for a very long time, many people thought that lions didn't eat waterbuck because they didn't like the taste of the meat. Because us humans, apparently, we don't like it. I've never eaten waterbuck, so I wouldn't know. But apparently, if it's not done properly, then it's not a tasty meat. And because obviously we attach all sorts of feelings to the animals, and we assume that the lions wouldn't like them more than what we did. But then when there was some certain proper research carried on, they actually discovered that waterbuck are a large part of carnivores' diet, especially lions, because they have to drink every day. They are very water dependent, maybe in comparison to some of the other antelopes that we get in the area. That lions know that all they have to do is sit at a water hole, and then they'll be able to just pretty much pick which waterbuck they want to eat, because waterbucks tend, especially in the dry conditions, they tend to come every single time back to the same water holes that are in the area where they live. I remember last year we had, or not last year, maybe 2 years ago, and I think it was 2015 if I'm not mistaken, I went to the Kalahari, to the Kalahari Transfrontier Park, which is another wonderful park in between Namibia, Botswana and South Africa, but it's in the desert, in the outskirts of the desert, let's put it that way. And it was so dry that at every single waterhole we went to, there were just lions sitting, waiting for their prey to approach them. They were so lazy and so fat, because obviously all this poor antelope, they had to keep going back to the same places and face lions every single time because there was no other water available. I think our guys here still have not too much to worry about. I mean, look at them. They're still looking in great condition, and there's a lot of water pretty much all around the area. We shall carry on with our search and leave these beautiful boys here, but let's go to Jamie, who's also got a big grey animal.
This is the extraordinary thing about being in the Mara, especially as somebody who really can't get enough of elephants, is every now and again you find yourself surrounded by them in these extraordinary large herds, and that happens in the Sabi Sands as well. But out here, that sense of space is just that much more magnified. They're not disappearing anytime soon. And I can't help but wonder if this is the herd with the little one in it. We saw it being born, when was it? Was it 2 days ago? 3 days ago?
2 days ago.
Honestly, days are blurring slowly but surely into one. But we saw a little elephant take its first steps, and I've been looking for it ever since. But an elephant that size, if you're an adult female, you stick out above the grass, but for a tiny baby elephant, we might not even see its back.
There's a baby.
Is there a baby? Oh, there's a baby. Hey! What's happening? Are you stuck in a swamp? Come on. Off you go. Up you get.
Is it him?
Tucker, age 4, while we watch our elephant climb up the bank, you want to know if we have trees with woolly worms. Tucker, we do actually. We absolutely do. I know exactly what you're talking about. You're talking about the caterpillar bush. And This is so sweet. Look at it saying well done for climbing up. Tucker, we do have caterpillar bushes here, or the woolly worm bushes. I haven't seen that many of them. We also have something different here called a woolly caper bush, and that's the one that Brent keeps getting confused. He can't remember the difference between a woolly caper bush and a caterpillar bush. If I find one, Tucker, I'll show you what a woolly caper bush looks like, and then you can add it to your collection. I have to share the story with you because I heard it a few days ago, and I haven't really had the opportunity to tell you it yet, and it's such a great one. When I first arrived here, we've been driving for 5-6 hours. I'm not quite sure how long the drive is. It's about 6 hours. And I arrived in the evening, and Brent and myself went straight into a rangers meeting to meet with some of the safari guides that work at Ngama. Fantastic group of people. I'm really looking forward to working with them. And we were talking, they have a special show and tell session. And trust me, this is connected to the elephants you're watching, I promise. They had a special show and tell session, and it involved each of the guides doing a bit of research on a topic, which I think is a wonderful idea. Stuff that they don't necessarily know. And it was on a millipede. Just wait for it. Promise you there's a connection. So apparently the local Maasai name, don't ask me to remember what it is because I was barely even human at that point, let alone capable of remembering anything except the story. The Maasai word directly translated, or the name for a millipede, basically means he who leads the cattle to water. And apparently, look, they might have been having me on. I had just arrived after all, and there's a certain spirit amongst guides to do something like this. But apparently the story goes that all of the animals were really very thirsty, and it was a time of great drought, and there was only one water hole. And the elephants were hogging it, as we have seen elephants do in the past. They do often chase other animals away from water holes. And the animals got thirstier and thirstier until eventually they convened a meeting. And the millipede volunteered its services, and of course the animals all laughed and said, "What can you do to help us?" And the millipede said, "Just wait." And the millipede crawled up to the water hole and got its friends to crawl up to the water hole, and they all crawled up the trunks of the elephants and gave them such a tickle that the elephants ran away from the water, and the animals could all go and drink. So there you go. I will try and find out what the local Maasai name is. I have completely forgotten. It was a long day. But that story stuck out in my mind as something quite special. Millipedes to the rescue. Roshni, you say, wow, this grass looks so much greener. It is in this particular section. This is a very boggy, swampy section of this reserve. So it's the sort of area where you look at that and you think, oh, that looks perfect to drive on, until you sink up to your axles in mud and realize that maybe it wasn't such a good idea. So it's a different species of grass. I don't know which species of grass it is. I'm still coming to grips with all of the different types of plants here. Most of them are familiar, but that is basically a swamp that the elephants are standing in, which is why that little baby was struggling to get up, and why the elephants, apart from the fact that they're behind a slight hill, are sinking down into the mud. I can't remember what it's called though, this section. I have absolutely no idea. See? Females with long tusks. Lots and lots of them. Now, the grasses of the Masai Mara are, of course, looking very green and healthy thanks to the late rains. I think it's safe to say that it's not quite the same on Djuma.
Well, maybe. They always say the grass is greener on the other side, Jamie, so I'm wondering about that. We had some impala alarm calling in this direction, and one of them started off running, so we wanted to come and have a look, see if perhaps there was anything hiding around this area that we hadn't seen, perhaps a lion or a leopard, but I can't hear them anymore. It seems like they've gone quiet for the time being, so it's going to be a bit hard to try and get out of here, I think. And probably the best way to get out is the exact same way that we came in. But I just want to listen out, see if perhaps we hear them again. So I could hear them in the distance, so I wonder if maybe we got the spot wrong. I think maybe they're all dashed into the distance. Alright. I don't think they are in here, so we're gonna have to try and figure a way out from all of this thickets and move around. Maybe we'll be able to find a more decent spot. And this is just the other side of the drainage where Craig said he had that bit of a funny leopard-like smell. So I wonder if maybe there hasn't been one hiding somewhere in here and we just haven't been able to see it. Alright, we are going to carry on our search, or rather a way of getting out of here, but let's go to Tayla, who's found all her elephant friends.
I have found my friends, the elephants. They're all surrounding me, and I didn't quite realize how big of a herd it actually is, because we've just come from Mvubu Road and we saw them off into the distance in the thicket along the drainage line, and then Ferg with his eagle eyes spotted the rest of them at Gallagher Pan from the distance. We'd parked ourselves up on a little sort of high rise, but now we've got a roadblock, so we can't really go anywhere. As you can see, this young elephant boy thinks that if he stands with his bottom facing us, we won't know that every now and then he's trying to smell us. But he's obviously distracted by many different scents, because his trunk is going in all sorts of directions. So we'll just wait here for a moment, but some of them are going over to the little pan to have another drink of water. And I'm looking for my favorite little girl, the diva, that was dancing in front of the car all morning. Now, as we sit here and we watch these elephants, we've been seeing lots of cows and their offspring, but one thing we haven't really been seeing is tuskers. And Liam, you were wondering exactly that. Do we see any of the great tuskers here at Djuma? Sometimes we do. I've seen one or two really big boys sort of standing around a treehouse dam. And I think the elephant that Ali had, the one that was in a bit of a foul mood due to his must condition, he seemed to be quite a big tusker, but I haven't seen any of the really, really large ones. Still, the biggest elephants I've ever seen were in Kruger. I saw one massive tusker down in the southern sands before. He was an absolute beauty of an elephant. His tusks almost looked like they were going to touch the ground. He was also enormous in size. I'm going to go down a little bit further because there's an Ellie cow just down here, and we'll see if we can get a better view. She's just munching at the moment, so we're not going to force her off of the road. We're going to let her continue with her afternoon tea, her high tea. Hi girl, don't mind us, we're just going to pull off on the side and watch you eat. It's not weird at all. Don't you think that's strange? Imagine if you did this to people. If you just went around and randomly started watching people as they were just having lunch or breakfast and taking pictures. But we do that with the animals, and it's amazing how they don't mind. Of course, this is just how my strange mind works. So will sit here until she decides to finish up, and she's being very careful. I'm watching the way that she's using her trunk, so I wonder if she isn't eating something prickly. Yesterday we were actually talking about how delicate they are when they do put something that's got a few thorns in their mouths. Yes, it's a buffalo thorn, so that will be very prickly. How they sort of push it in with their trunks just to make sure that it gets into the right spot. Hello, beautiful big girl. But she doesn't look like she's quite ready to go just yet. She's probably going to have a little nibble and then carry on that animal pathway and hopefully have a drink of water. But they might head out into the open. The others have moved off from the watering hole and they're going back towards sort of Gallagher shortcut, which then I presume they're going to head towards Vuyatela access. So that'll be nice. We might get silhouetted elephants this evening if they decide to go further south rather than straight west. That could be quite nice, don't you think? But there she is. She's feeding on that delicious dwarfed buffalo thorn. Very gently trying to pull that off. Beautiful. Off you go, big girl. We'll just wait for her to take a couple more steps off that pathway. She actually looks like she could be heavily pregnant. I mean, you can just see from the bulge of the side of her body. And AKA, you were wondering exactly that. Is this cow pregnant? I think so. So just from looking at it, I couldn't quite see her head now. I actually missed if she was secreting liquid from her temporal glands. She most certainly has got very full mammary glands too. And that calf that walked that we were staring at that caused the initial roadblock, I think that could be her son. And it's about the right age. He looked like he was probably about 5 years old or so, somewhere around there. Oh, Ferg, we've got a sneaker. We've got one elephant that's just sneaking behind us. Very quiet. That always amazes me, how elephants move so quietly, even through the thick bush. If you hear what we sound like as we walk around, my goodness, we make all sorts of sounds. We're not exactly the quietest. Yes, run. Bit of a speed wobble there. Not running away from us. I think its legs just got away from it, because it has now indeed slowed down as it goes up the hill. You know what I have just noticed, though? I've just seen it looks like the Gallagher guests are not out of camp just yet. I thought I saw somebody on the deck, so we might have to be a bit sneaky here and just hang back out of sight for the moment, but they should be going out on safari any second now, because I did hear Aubrey chatting on the radio, so I think he's just rounding everybody up. Everyone's probably just wiping the crumbs off of their face and, you know, probably having a last sip of whatever they may be drinking at high tea before they head out on a very stressful day on a safari. Hey, it sounds terrible. Hey, Ferg, I wouldn't like to go out on a safari every day. It's tough life. Obviously, we do this every day. It's not work. I think that we have a great time out here, especially when you can spend your day with elephants, and hopefully Ellie's going to find some giraffe, because I know she's been searching for giraffe now for about 2 game drives. Maybe she finds a one-eyed male giraffe that's been hanging around. It'd be interesting to hear her opinion as to what had happened to him, what could have possibly happened to him. I think let's take a gamble, Ferg. Let's see if we can sneak up on there. I can't see too much more movement on that deck now, so perhaps Aubrey has cracked the whip and called the guest in. Otherwise, hang on, wait, this could be my friend. No, this looks like a young bull. I've changed my mind. There's a young bull coming out of the thicket. They're always quite fun. Hello. Yes, there's definitely a young bull, just from looking at him, the shape of his tusks and the size of them for the size of his body, and quite large. And then he's also got that very rounded head. Just investigating around a marula that was pushed over by elephants, I'm sure, quite a while ago. You're not going to find any fruit around there, I'm afraid. You'll have to wait until next year. Just resting his trunk. You're going to have a scratch now. Look at this. He's going to stand on that tree and go over this way. No, just putting his foot up there. I think maybe he was showing, maybe he just had his nails done, and that's what he was showing us, Ferg. Do you think so? Doing an ad? Now, Labamba girl, you were wondering if there's any vegetation that elephants don't particularly eat. Not that I have seen. They eat everything. I mean, I've watched elephants, it's spelt with an E, not an A, elephants feeding on bitter aloe before. Now, if any of you are watching and have ever had the opportunity to sort of break open a bitter aloe leaf and you put that secretion on your tongue, or if you've ever accidentally got aloe after sun onto your face and then licked your lips or something like that, you will know it is horribly bitter. Elephants love it. They'll eat all of it. They'll pull them all out of the gardens, especially newly landscaped gardens. They enjoy doing that. I'm just trying to think of the most foul-tasting plants to you and I. Not necessarily foul-tasting to an elephant, of course. So, no, I can't think of anything in particular. Obviously, they have preferences at different times of the year. Now we're starting to see them move away from the grass and moving on to bark, and eventually they're going to be digging roots out of the ground and all of these wonderful things. I really just can't think of anything. Nah, not for now. They're pretty diverse. They do eat a lot of different vegetations. They even eat squill. That's one of their favorite things, and that's poisonous to you and I. The tall white squill. They always dig down and get their bulbs out of the ground. They love those. Now they're taking their time. Now this is where we have to wait for them to move off of the road. We don't want to push them, of course. We want to give them a bit of room, and they're in no hurry whatsoever, and I think he knows that. I think he's going, I wonder how long I can stall Tayla and Ferg on the road for before they get annoyed. And he's smelling us. He keeps putting his trunk back. You might be able to see, pointing it towards us, and their scent is just so incredible. He'd be able to tell you what type of deodorant I'm wearing. I'm almost certain of that. And tell you that Ferg is not wearing any deodorant. Just joking, Ferg. You look a bit sad now. Are you offended?
No, I'm concentrating.
Oh, sorry, Ferg is concentrating. I must behave for the sunset safari. I'm being silly again.
But you're out on
Right, let's go up. I think we can do it now. I think we've got a big enough gap between us and those Ellies to not bother them at the drinking hole. Right, let's go have a look. I'm still just trying to focus very carefully. Check with my binoculars. No one on the deck. Oh, there's some more coming. Now this is a man-made pan, and this one is pumped. So this is very, very small little pan over here. But the animals are definitely attracted to it. Hi guys. What a beautiful setting. It really is quite lovely out here. All the little ones just coming around. They're probably going, this doesn't taste as great as that water we dug out from the riverbed earlier this morning. Little one stretching its trunk right out. See how they're smelling those two elephants that just joined the party now. They're reaching over. Very interested in their scent. But we can also see now that cow that's on the left, the one that we suspected could be pregnant, you can definitely see that she's under stress because her temporal glands are secreting quite heavily. And I think if you just put two and two together, a very sort of big bulge coming from the side of her body, the swollen mammary glands, no sign of a very young calf at her side that would be suckling. I think it is safe to say that she's expecting a little one. When, I'm not certain, but I reckon relatively soon because her mammary glands are fairly full. And there does seem to be some secretions near her nether region, so perhaps she is prepping in the next few weeks to give birth, but we won't really know until it happens. So that'll be exciting. Let's hope that they hang around and we might find ourselves a new elephant calf. But there we go, young bulls having a little tussle at the dam as they normally do. Well, they have a little tussle wherever they can, I suppose. That doesn't matter where they are, the dam. Definitely the one on the right is just slightly older, and I think it's bullying the younger one, and then the older bull that's behind it is bullying that one. And that's fine. As long as they push and shove each other around and don't bother about the rest, that's okay. Now, they're quite pleasant and relaxed around each other at the moment. Elephants surrounding us. It's really nice. We're actually in a good spot because there's a couple of youngsters coming up from behind me now. And Natty, you're wondering if there's ever any conflict amongst elephant herds. Oh yeah, most certainly. I think there'll definitely be quarrels that go on even amongst a family group, but I'm sure that they sort them out relatively quickly. Most of the quarrels will happen between the younger bulls that are getting so boisterous and don't really want to go and leave the herd, sorry, is what I'm trying to say. Look at this bull here. Look how he's sneaking up to us, pretending like we don't actually know that he's here. No, I can see you, elephant. I know that you're here. You sneaking on your tiptoes didn't work, unfortunately. He came and he sort of stood behind this little bush wallow. But look who is coming behind us, and I think it is we are being stalked. Yes? Head down. Building up to a bigger pace. This youngster, I think, is going to try and play some games with us, so this might be quite entertaining. Hello, little one. Or it's just going to casually walk past us. But I think it looks a bit cheeky. So sorry, as I was saying, Natty, most of the time it happens between the bulls when you get a bit of conflict. Hello. But then the cows will sort them out. Don't worry, I'm not going to... Quickly run to your older brother. He'll rescue you. He'll save you. Not wanting to get left behind. They're brave enough to leave Mom. Now you're giving the other ones a fright, the big elephants. However, I have seen a big matriarch cow before once, again at the watering hole, but this was during the drought last year. Sort of quite early in the year, actually about a year ago. And there was one herd of elephants drinking, having a wonderful afternoon, and then the next minute there was sort of those low rumblings that you normally hear. And another breeding herd of elephants approached from the opposite side of the dam. And because water was so sort of such a precious resource, there was actually none of it around, or even all the pans that were being pumped were drying out just because the boreholes could not keep up with the rate at which the animals were drinking the water. And it was really interesting. And this cow came through. She came charging out. She was much bigger and obviously more experienced than the original herd that was there. And she chased the smaller breeding herd away and then allowed for her group to come in and actually have a drink. So I think only in desperate times would you find elephants really be acting aggressive towards each other, because we see it as well. You have 3 or 4 herds of elephants joining together and coming down and feeding around a watering hole and drinking at a watering hole. We see it on the dam cam all the time. But when there's no water, there's no food, and the animals are stressed and grumpy, then you can most certainly expect conflict. They will even chase other animals away, not just other elephants. I've watched them chase hippos out of the water before. And hippos, you know, they really do stand their ground and try and defend their little pool of water, especially if that's all that they've got. And of course, size does matter in the bush, and the elephants win. I've watched elephants chasing buffalo around to chase them away from a watering hole, so that most certainly does happen. But this is quite nice. I think this is really, really lovely here. Them all just having a little drink. And there's still loads of elephants, but they're coming in waves at the moment. There's still another set coming out from the drainage line. I think we're going to go around and see if we can find that young Ellie cow with the broken tail or the skew tail. Ellie, however, has got a bird, so before it flies away, let's go take a look.
Phew, luckily they haven't flown away, and we are looking at 3 beautiful magpie shrikes. Very long tails, as you can see over there every now and again when the wind starts blowing, and they are mainly black with white underparts, but hear their call. Very sad. I don't know why I found it more like a cry than a call. It sounds very sad, very dramatic, doesn't it? It's almost like they're crying over something. What happened, guys? Did somebody get eaten? Yeah. You were very quiet over there. So it is quite common to find them in groups. Sometimes there's maybe 4 or 5 of them all together. And there tends to be a dominant pair, and they are the ones that breed, and then everybody else just pretty much helps raise the chicks. It could be that they're, you know, doing a territorial call, just letting all the other magpie shrikes know not to come around here, but they tend to hunt from the perch. Jennifer, you're saying it's a beautiful call. I agree, but it's sort of making my heart sore. I find it a very sad call, isn't it? Oh, we've got some other birds that have joined the party. We've got some hornbills. There it is, the red-billed hornbill. Jennifer, you agree with me? Good, because I thought maybe I was going crazy and hearing things where there weren't. We've got, like I said, there was a red-billed hornbill, and now it's still on top, advertising everything. It's this beautiful one. Thought maybe one of the other ones had come. Yeah, I think maybe they're also scanning the area for any insects that might be down here, because I just saw one of them earlier on go all the way down to the ground and then come back up. But this is wonderful. We don't get to spend too much time with these precious birds. It's a beautiful concert, isn't it? And that long tail, very distinctive long tail, that makes it very hard for them to fly around. It's almost like they fly with their bum falling down. They have to carry the weight of this tail. Up you go. Well, you definitely singing. You're the one that hasn't shut up. Maybe, you know, what do you guys think? Is this a soprano in the magpie shy world? Good. What? AKA, you say this is a real life Twitter. Yeah, I think it is. It's pretty ironic, isn't it? There we go, the wind's still blowing. You can see the wind is still going crazy by the way that their tails are going in the wind. But it's wonderful. I've never had them stick around for so long in a place where I've been. Now you're singing by yourself. I think this one's a bit shyer. Now that the other one's gone, then maybe it doesn't feel like it should carry on singing. Project Alpha, you say the female seems higher pitched in the duet. Well, you can ask Tristan all about it and he would definitely agree with you. But yes, they tend to have slightly different calls. But I think it's good to say that in a general rule, some females more than others are more high pitched. I know I probably win the prize, but that's the way I was born and I can't really control my voice. That's why I stay clear from singing. I don't want to start breaking any glasses. Well, thank you very much for the concert, guys. I think maybe we'll let you guys stay clear of us, but this was pretty amazing, isn't it? Like a little pocket of gold that we found. This beautiful bird singing and not flying away. We've been struggling with birds lately, but I think this one's just gave us a fantastic sighting and of such a beautiful common bird as well. So I'm quite happy with this. Something very special for this afternoon. Thanks, guys. Our own private concert. Well, that was beautiful. I think this is the longest I've seen a bird go calling and, you know, advertising their territory and trying to bond with the other mates. Alright, it seems like one of the Super Power Ranger girls has managed to find the rest of the lions, so let's go over to Jamie all the way in the Mara.
This is the amazing thing about the Mara, is of course the fact that on a good Cataday, it'll provide you with cats. Or at least, it had provided us with a cat. Dave, she's gone. She's vanished. It's alright, we've got a second lioness off to the left, and my first encounter with the sausages. There you go, here we are. The sausage tree pride, or the sausage pride, that are now forever after going to be called the sausages. Hello, ladies. Apparently they have a buffalo kill that you would have seen this morning, and, excitingly enough, the prospect of 2 very tiny cubs, and 1 male of the dominant coalition of this area. This pride is dominated by 4 males. Oh, there's a cub in the road. Hello. You're definitely not brand new. Oh, wonderful. I was so hoping they were going to, because it's hot this afternoon, I was hoping they were going to be up in the trees, escaping the biting tsetse flies and getting a little bit of shade at the same time. But there they go, making their way back towards a buffalo that at this point, I guess to them smells delicious, but to us smells a little rotten. I'm distracted because I don't know what starling that is calling. Hold on. I can hear it. I just can't see it. Must be a superb. Tony, you would like to know what the tastiest thing is to eat in the Mara? Well, Tony, I have to tell you that pup and goat is pretty low down on the list at this point.
It's ugali.
It's ugali. Ugali. And cabbage is also quite low on the list at this point, due largely to the effects that it's had on the digestive system of the staff. But for the animals, the most delicious thing is about to arrive in the form of wildebeest. And the reason I should say that's the most delicious thing for them is because they're just everywhere. and it becomes so much easier for them to catch something and keep little chaps like this one well fed. I don't think lions or leopards or cheetah or any of the predators really have a particular preference. A meal of hippo is probably quite good for them because it's very fatty meat, but they're not fussy. And there's certain prides that apparently specialize during the sort of the green season when the wildebeest aren't here. They'll specialize in things like warthogs. So I assume you're talking about what's the most delicious thing for the animals rather than for us. Okay, I think we should try and get a little bit closer. You'll have to... Dave will give you a view of the scenery. I have to duck in order to drive because we're back in Chica. Chiku, what is wrong with me? It's because it's Paka and Chiku. I get confused. Alright, hold on everybody. Oops, sorry Rebecca. Rebecca, one of our talented directors, is accompanying us this afternoon in order to make sure that we behave ourselves and get the shots that she needs.
What up?
Beck says, what up? Hi guys. Oh, of course, these animals are unfamiliar to me. So, I need to sort of approach quite cautiously. I don't want to scare them. I don't know these lions, so I'm going to do my standard approach, although they seem to be perfectly... This little neck... Oh, just disappeared behind Mum's head. It's okay, it'll come back out again. Jeremiah, you say in this perfect example that it is amazing how they just disappear in the grass. I know. Imagine what this poor wildebeest must go through. Just imagine. Or any animal out here. You're walking and all of a sudden you are... disadvantage. Oh! Just the talk of hunting apparently has exhausted that lioness. Hey, little ones. All looking a bit hot and bothered and covered in flies. Oh, what will be interesting is what...
Hello everybody, sorry about that. Gremlins in the Mara. Gremlins in the Mara. Jamie needs a panga to get rid of the gremlins in the Mara. Right, we're carrying on. So what's happened is Ferg and I have managed to lose that big herd of elephants to the trees and the bushes. It's quite thick. They're just feeding down in the drainage line at the moment after they had a nice drink. However, I just got told on the radio, Lex said that there's apparently a big tusker with another herd of elephants just off of Twin Dams. How exciting. So we hopefully are going to go and find him and have a look at this great tusker. I think it could be the same bull that Ali has seen. And just makes sense because he was hanging around sort of Treehouse Dam and in those areas. And if he's in Must, all he's going to be interested in doing is searching for breeding herds of elephants. So we'll go in there, we'll try and take a view from the distance. I actually hope that they may be down in the drainage line so that we can view from the top if there's a couple of gaps. And it's never nice to go into a river system or a dry riverbed knowing there's an elephant bull in Must around. We won't be getting ourselves surrounded by that herd of elephants. Now, this is a thing that takes quite a long time to have caught, not quite a long time, but you just need to watch the animals quite carefully to be able to tell the differences between male and female elephants. And Katie, I was discussing it a moment ago, so I'll just tell you them for now, and then when we see some elephants, I'll be able to show you exactly that, what is the difference between the males and the females. So it's quite easy. Who is flying above us? Is it an African hawk eagle? It is too. That's nice. There was just an African hawk eagle fly there. There it goes. Off it goes into the distance. That was quite nice. I just saw this strange bird with sort of quite a bit of mottling on its feathers and a bit of white, and I thought to myself, what on earth is that? And then I went, oh, hang on, we've got a pair of them nesting. So that's what that was. And so, sorry, looking at an elephant, their whole body, especially in the thickets. So if you look at their heads, Right, Katie, I'm going to tell you that next time you come back to me, but for now I'm going to send you across to Ellie, and she's driving around somewhere.
We are driving around and it seems like Craig has spotted some tracks on the road that are... Okay, let me just... I'm just gonna come down and have a look. Because this is Batman after all. Is it this big one here? This one's... Oh, this one. I think... Yeah, because I think Tayla's... This one. Those are all lion tracks. But I think this is where Tayla had them this morning. Ah! False alarm! Would have been good though. You see now the lions pretty much came all the way from the southern side. More like western side. And then went all the way towards, yeah, from the southern side to the northern side. And I think this is maybe where they came in from, because I see lots of tracks on the road. But we unfortunately know where they are. And it is not here. And I remember Tayla vaguely calling in the tracks, I think further down the road. So I think this is actually the road that they chose to come in from at probably sometime around 4 o'clock in the morning. And decided to wake all of us up. I wonder if they're gonna do it again. I was laughing because this morning at 4:15, I think, Tayla and I were having a full conversation via WhatsApp, both of us in our rooms, just trying to decide what we were going to do and what the plan of action would be to try and find the lions. But fortunately, they didn't stop moving. They were 2 hours a bit ahead of us. Alright. Beautiful tree around here as well. Wonder if Shadow's somewhere around here too. No Shadow around here. Well, let's carry on. Wonder. It is a very beautiful Saturday afternoon today. I think it's one of those Saturdays that's, you know, when the light is soft and everything is pretty much in a very relaxed kind of way. Very happy Saturday. Alright. I think there was a car that was driving way too far. Izzy, you're wondering if there are ladybugs here. Yes, Tayla actually found a whole lot of them a few months ago, and she was so excited and so surprised. We don't see them often. At this time of the year, I think we're going to struggle a bit with insects because it's dry. There isn't a lot of food available to them. But yeah, definitely we can find them around here. Pretty tiny little ones like you get in the rest of the world. And normally, we consider that they bring luck. And talking about ladybugs, I think we found a new house for some of the mongoose. So I'm just going to sit here patiently, see if perhaps they decide to come out, because they were looking so funny. They were just sunbathing, all of them around here, in these little holes. Let's see. Because I can hear them all around here. Hopefully they'll come out. Where are you guys? Come on. I think maybe this mongoose here are not so used to having vehicles stopping next to them, and that's why they've been moving around non-stop. Can't see them around here now. There we go. There's one outside coming to investigate the noise. Well done. Wonder how many they are. Oh, there's another head. Popping behind it. Haha. Going up and down. So you see, because they are so short, they have to go on their back legs to scan the area and make sure that whatever it is that they can hear around them is not a threat. So when they go out hunting, they will always have one sentinel, one mongoose, perhaps it's this one, that will be sitting up on higher ground above from everybody else that can keep an eye out. And I mean, that is the most important job, just to make sure that if it sees any potential predator, a leopard, an eagle, a wildcat, a serval, a caracal, it's going to make an alarm call and then just tell the rest of the group that they have to run back and retreat back into the holes. I think they've... Oh, there it is again in between the branches. I think you're quite curious. You're just coming to investigate, aren't you? There we go, going down. I think maybe this is the case of us being studied by the mongoose. Maybe there are lots of little good things in there. What? Are you looking for food? I love the little noises that they make. Go around and moving. It seems like Jamie has also managed to find something in the very long grass, but I think hers is a bit more ferocious. So let's go all the way to Kenya to have a look.
Well, if you were ever wondering why it is that lions climb trees out here, just have a look at the numerous flies. Hundreds of thousands of them gathered around this buffalo kill, and within that, some of them will be biting flies. They bite us too, tsetse flies. It feels, how did Steph describe it? It feels a bit like somebody took a very thin wire and put it in a flame for a few seconds, and then touched your skin with it. And you can imagine that's not very pleasant if you're a lion, or a person, or indeed anyone. And that's one of the big reasons why lions in this particular area will often go up into the trees. I've only seen it once since I've been here, so I'm hoping to see more of it. It's such a strange image for us who're sort of programmed to see leopards in trees, to suddenly see the great vast bulk of a lion. Hey girl, she's contemplating going and eating something, or growling at a cub. Ooh, fly in the ear. My ear, not the lioness's ear. Where are you going? I'm just looking at this lioness and trying to figure out where she's going. So if I duck out of your way, things will change when we have pucker. We have one of the lionesses, I think, just going off in search of some relief from the flies and from the cubs. We have a question, and I'm sorry I missed the name, but Alice will feed it through to me in roughly 10 seconds. We have a question about how it is that you can tell whether a cub is a boy or a girl. Katie, welcome to the Sunset Safari. Katie, you want to know how you can tell if the cub's a boy or a girl. It's actually quite tricky if you're not entirely sort of geared up towards figuring that stuff out. The gap between let me try and describe this properly. Essentially, because young males, they haven't hit puberty yet, so their testicles haven't descended. So you can't obviously tell in that way, but what it does is the space where the testicles will descend is quite clear in a male cub, whereas in a female, that space is slightly reduced between the rectum or the anus and the reproductive organs. And if you ask really nicely, Katie, I'm sure some of our viewers will have a really great guide. I've seen a picture that many people have shared, and I've got it in my reference books, but unfortunately not with me at the moment. There go the cubs. Look, Dave. Trotting after Mum. Let me duck down out of your way. Little things in long grass. Won't you show us underneath your tail so we can tell if you're a boy or a girl? That's not going to happen. So Katie, if perhaps some of our viewers would be kind enough to share that little diagram with you on hashtag Safari Live on Twitter. Mom's calling cubs now. There goes another little one, Dave. Sorry, I'm bouncing you all over the place. There you go. There's another one of the young ones. Before we used to just have to duck our heads. Now we have to duck our entire bodies. Oh, it's making little sounds. Oh, I've missed this. Apparently you all at Djuma have had the wonderful opportunity of seeing a new Nkuhuma cub, but it's been a while. Oops, screenshot bottom quickly, if you had a chance? It's gone now behind the grass. I was thinking perhaps we could do a quick guess as to whether this is a male or a female cub walking away from us. I hear you've got a new cub of the Nkuhumas to keep you entertained, but we haven't seen lion cubs in a while. Not little lion cubs. Oh, it's going to go off right to Mum. Let Jamie. Oh, sorry. I keep forgetting how low the camera is.
There you go, here's a shot.
Oh, wow. There we go. Screenshot, everybody, if the cub lifts its tail. Colleen, you say, oh, such a cute baby. Oh, they are sweet, aren't they? One older and 2 younger by the looks of things. In fact, that might even be 3 different ages. Looking at them now, one's definitely a lot younger than the other 2. Alright, our lioness is going back towards the kill. We're not going anywhere. My head's in the way again. Let's go across to Tayla with a massive tusker.
It is indeed, Jamie. Well, particularly large for the Sabi Sands, that's for sure. He's got beautiful tusks, and I think it is the same elephant that Ali has seen a couple of times, but you can all let me know if it is the same big elephant bull. Hashtag Safari Live to let me know. He's a lovely boy. Look how he's just sort of resting his trunk now over his tusks, and I think that that's the goal of every young elephant bull out there, is to one day have tusks long enough that they'll actually be able to rest that heavy trunk. Now that trunk weighs a whole bunch, especially with all those muscles in that trunk. I can't imagine that it must be nice to have that hanging off of the side of your face. But now, he's hiding away. Can you believe that an elephant so large can disappear that we can only just see half of his body? And like Ali was pointing out, I'm pretty sure it's the same bull, he's heavily in must at the moment. He's secreting from many parts of his body, but you can see then constantly dribbling urine, and it's almost green in color, and it leaves that dark black staining around the outside of the legs, or the inside of the legs, sorry. And then of course they secrete from their temporal gland, which we can't see at the moment. He's hidden away, but there you go, you can see he is dribbling quite a bit of urine, and it's quite smelly too. Luckily for us, we are hidden from the wind at the moment. We're actually quite sort of sheltered, and I think we could be upwind from this elephant, which is quite nice. Now, we had a question about how to tell the difference between male and female elephants. Well, that's one way. Ferg was in a nice tight shot over there, so you can always look for that. But I was saying that you can't always see the entire body of an elephant, so I think that their heads is probably the easiest way. When they're young, it can be a little bit on the tricky side, I always find. But as they start to get older, the females' heads become sort of quite sunken in, and you're able to see that very sharp angular head that they have, whereas the males of course have that very rounded sort of skull compared to the girls. The breed
Oh no, it seems like the gremlins got hold of Tayla again. We are on our way to Chitwa Dam once more, just to see if perhaps little Hosanna has come back, or if there are any tiny hippos that we could go and have a look at, which would be quite exciting. We haven't seen a small hippo in a while, and who knows, maybe we'll make it. So hopefully we will have no gremlins over there, and I am really hoping for a beautiful young male leopard the same way we did yesterday. But if not, always nice to see a big body of water. That's the one thing I do miss about the southern Sabi Sand, is just the rivers. The rivers are such a special part of what makes Africa unique. I don't think we get to complain too much around here either. We've had all sorts of things. Right, let's carry on. We're not too far, and I see, what was that, a waterbuck in the distance? Smelly little waterbucks, very fluffy, and almost there. Oh, another waterbuck up ahead. Maybe this is where they all cross. But I'm actually going to take a bit of a shortcut and then go straight onto the dam, because I'm pretty sure I know where those Waterbucks are going, and I think we're all heading roughly in the same direction. Let's see. Let's see. Whoop. Alright. I'm checking all the trees just in case. Hosanna's sleeping somewhere up here. And this is the exact same spot where we had him yesterday. I wonder. I am hoping we won't find him, and I hope it would be because he's got something. While we get or make our way down to the bottom of the dam, let's go to Jamie and enjoy some more of those beautiful Mara lions.
We are still with our amazing lions, and with the cubs that are now known as the little sausages. Hey, little sausages, now of course, because we want to talk about you, you've disappeared behind the long grass. Moving around here is not all that easy, but we've still got one to keep us entertained. Already with the black tips behind its ear. You know, of course, Dave, it was inevitable that when we came here they'd all move that side. Naturally. Oh, someone's chewing on the carcass because there's a cloud of flies taking off above them. Oh, they're all here. Oh, goodness. Ow, don't bite me. Sorry. One of them just bit me on the thigh and it wasn't particularly pleasant. Oh, I can hear a Cokie Franklin. That's a familiar sound from home. Now, speaking of the flies that have just nipped me on the leg, John, you would like to know if there's any natural way that the animals keep the flies off them. Not all of these are tsetse flies, by the way. In fact, I don't actually see a tsetse fly within that particular group. But the lions, as I said, will go up trees. A lot of the animals will wallow in mud and try and go onto crests where if there's a bit of a breeze, something that will keep the flies away. Oh, look, a cheeky little one tucking in there. But for the most part, John, they're just used to it. Learning to share with Mum. It's something that lions are not particularly good at. There's a lot of growling involved at the dinner table. The Cokie Franklin here sounds like it's overdosed on its cups of coffee today. Just a different accent. Could you hear it there, Dave?
Yeah.
Cokie, Cokie, Cokie. Sounds different to Djuma. Oh, third mouth not quite strong enough to break off a chunk of flesh, our little one. Takes some serious chewing happening there. Yes, use those back teeth, that's what you should do. And tug. Come on, give it a tug. Sure. Janet, yes, I think there are more flies in the Mara just because there's more animals just in terms of density, and I think that would suggest that there are more flies here. And of course there are tsetses, which we don't really get in South Africa. It's certainly not on Djuma. But I guess there must be more flies. Just, oh, look at the little one. That's it. Get right in there. Jump on that carcass. So I guess, yes, in a way you could say there are more flies just because there's more for them to feed on, particularly during the migration where it's just carnage, essentially. Colleen, while we watch the lioness stick her entire head into the carcass. Oh, yum. Bet you smell lovely, my dear. Colleen, you want to know what the effects of the tsetse fly can be? Apart from the somewhat painful bite, I mean, it does only last a couple of milliseconds, but you're aware of it. It creates in certain people, naturally myself included, given the way I react to ticks in general, tsetse flies create an itchy, painful lump on your skin, and basically just your body reacting to the substance of their saliva. And then from there they do transmit sleeping sickness. Now, it is possible to get sleeping sickness from them. I would suggest that the animals out here have a pretty much natural immunity to that, whereas human beings, not so much. Oh, here comes the first vehicle on their way to see the lions. Sorry, Dave. Sorry. Dave thought I was about to show him something very exciting. I was merely suggesting the possibility of movement. He appears to have found a road that we did not know about, Dave. Which is happening to me a lot around here. I've also gone on roads I think I know where they're going to lead to, and they lead in the opposite direction. Like yesterday. Oh, Cubs! Cubs playing at the back. I wonder if we shouldn't go round and back onto the road. Let me just wait to see where this vehicle picks his spot, and then I'll move around, rather than having two engines on at the same time. Mr. Filipovic, you would like to know where the mail is. I have absolutely no idea. Here somewhere, I would presume. Apparently he was around here. I don't know where he is. I assume he's found himself a nice shady spot somewhere. Let's wait and see where this vehicle goes. I assume he's around. You saw him this morning, didn't you, Dave? You did. Fang. The one with the missing canine. So, Mr. Filipovic, I assume he's here somewhere. He might even make an appearance. Unfortunately, due to the fact that the gate closes at a set time, we won't be able to stay with them till it gets dark, but we've got another 20 minutes or so, I would say, before it will be time for us to wend our way back home. Right. I'm going to reposition. That is what I want to do. So while I do that, since it's not very exciting, and it's a bit bumpy, let's go across to Ali, and I didn't hear what she's doing, but I'm sure as always it will be very exciting.